Hey there, you're listening to the Scale to Sell podcast, the business owner's podcast to grow and exit your business, where we share with entrepreneurs like you the tactical and practical things you can do to scale your business and create an exit strategy that works for your retirement plan. I'm Adam Burton, part of the father-son duo behind Scale to Sell. I'm an attorney with marketing and business development experience, and I'm joined by my dad, Steve. He's an entrepreneur himself and a financial advisor who's been in the financial services industry for over 2 decades. His expertise securing his clients' retirement income and his experience owning and operating businesses gives him unique insight into what it takes for business owners to scale and sell their business successfully. This is episode number 4. Are you financially ready to retire? So there's a lot of people who are emotionally, maybe even physically ready to retire, right? They're ready to just walk away and move on to the next phase of their life, and they would be happy to do that. But the question that we're going to look at today is, are you financially ready to retire? Can you make that happen, right? So we're going to talk about the financial formula, your goal, what you're wanting to achieve, the lifestyle you're looking to maintain, minus your current assets equals what you need. Goal minus current assets equals what you need. That value gap that you've got to pay attention to. So the goal, what is your current income? Why is that an important question to start off with?
Well, for one thing, it's different than an employee. Think about it. If you're working and you're making $100,000 a year, perhaps you're married. I use an example of a married couple, and they're making $150,000 a year. All right, they back out their contributions from the 401k. They won't be making those in retirement. They figure they need $120,000. My point is, it's a lot more difficult because business owners pay themselves differently. Sometimes, yes, salary, dividends. The company writes off my vehicle, my cell phone, some of my trips. And so when you look at the total compensation for a business owner, sometimes the numbers don't tell the full story. So there is that, right? So trying to figure it out. What it is, my main focus always with retirement is what's the income need? How are we going to get there? And again, since, as we talked about last time, 80% of your net worth is tied up in your business. How do we harvest enough equity out of that business? What do we get for a sale price? And you mentioned it. You got to be personally financially ready. The business has to add on there because it's such a big chunk of most people's retirement picture. And then emotionally ready. What am I going to do after I quit working 50, 60, 70 hours a week? So it's just different, Adam, because the business and making sure you got the right numbers before we go looking at what is the business worth? How do we sell it? Is it a real number? And walking away with net dollars after taxes and fees.
Well, yeah, you're trying to estimate how can you maintain your lifestyle in this change of life that you're going through. You're no longer working. You're no longer getting the same money from the sources of incomes that you had been before. And so how are you able to replace those things? In the financial conversations that you're having with people, do you find that people often overestimate how much they need or underestimate how much they need?
And with business owners, it's my experience, it's mostly always underestimate because of what I just mentioned, because they don't take into consideration the other perks that the business affords them. And so, vehicles and other things that I mentioned right there, you got to make sure you count all the numbers and make sure that retirement number, that first year's income number, we can inflate it from there. We'll know what you need. If we can get the first year right, we'll know what year 2, year 5, year 10, year 20 is, but you've got to get an estimate of what that income looks like. Then we look at your personal finances. We look at what the business is valued and what we might be able to reasonably walk away from there, net of fees and taxes. And is that enough money to allow you to maintain your lifestyle? Because, Adam, I find that if you put in all this blood, sweat, and tears and you become successful and you're used to this certain lifestyle, you don't want to go back. It's hard to go back into coach. You've been flying at the front of the plane, or you've been traveling on a cruise ship in a nice suite, and now go back to
you're the inside stateroom.
No, you don't want to go there. And so anyway, but it's a big, and it's different. It's just different because it's more complicated. There's more parts of the equation for a big business owner than a regular employee.
Well, I mean, and so you're not only thinking about what are my necessities. The home that I want to live in, or, all of those things.
Or homes. Sometimes it's multiple.
Plural.
Yep.
Sometimes rental properties, sometimes just vacation, all the things. plus, the standard food and how you want to eat out and all those lifestyle decisions that you want to maintain. But our friend Tom Hegna has this saying that he's brought up before when he's talking to people about how much money they need for retirement. And he asked the question, what day do most people spend the most amount of money during the week?
It's on a Saturday.
Right. So it's like their weekends, they're not just in the office for 8 hours a day or however long they're working. But Saturday tends to be the day that, you do a lot of shopping, you go out, you're hanging out with friends, you're doing all kinds of different activities and things like that during that time period. But in retirement, every day is Saturday, right? You don't have those same obligations where you're at the office, you're doing this for work or that for work. And so the opportunity to spend more, to have those lifestyle experiences and do all those things changes. And so, it's better to at least overestimate, to think that you could need more than to definitely go the other way and realize you're not going to be able to maintain what you're wanting to in retirement.
So I've never asked anybody in a workshop, seminar, or my radio shows or wherever it might have been, how many of you would like to have a lifestyle that's at least as good as it is right now? Most people's hands, a few will go, I want it better than it is right now. I've never had any hand raised where it goes, hey, I want it to be worse than it is now. Same thing with us business owners. And to the point, that first 8 or 10 years of retirement are typically the time where you're the healthiest and you want to go do, because now you're unchained or mostly unchained, meaning you've got time and hopefully you got the money in your pocket to able to let you do what you want to do when you want to do it in the current lifestyle that you've become, you work so hard for.
Yeah. So the first part of this financial exit formula that we are talking about here is the goal. Like, what are you shooting for? What are you needing in order to maintain your lifestyle in retirement? And the second one that we need to talk about is the current assets. So what do you currently have? How are you positioned based on your portfolio of things? And that could be, if you have a 401k, IRA, you have other types of investment, real estate, all those things add up. But like you've pointed out a number of times, for business owners, this really goes back to the value of the business being almost always the majority thing that is a part of their portfolio, that is the determining factor of what their retirement income is going to look like.
If 80% of your net worth is tied up in the value of the business, that's for 80% of business owners. Their highest net worth, largest asset is the business. It doesn't mean you don't have 401ks, IRAs. Perhaps there's some real estate involved in it, where you're getting some income, but the business needs to be a big part of it. And when we sit down and look at it, one, we want to have that correct estimate of value, as we talked about on the last show. And then how do you match all these things up? Well, that's where our exit planning team has the experience to help you get top dollar from the business through our experienced, successful M&A team, and or the financial part of it, and or the tax planning team to make sure Uncle Sam keeps his hand out of your pocket as much as possible. But Adam, it just kind of comes all together. And it's not like you sell. I think we're in our 4th or 5th house. How many businesses do you guys sell over the time? Typically, maybe once, maybe twice, all right? It's just not as often, and it's just a little bit more complicated.
Having that team of people that is experienced that can guide you and help you know what to do so that you're doing it right the first time. You don't set yourself up for failure, making tax mistakes or other issues that could jeopardize.
Oh, here's another stat, Adam, that they say that 70% of all the people that do sell, right? Remember, only 20% ever successfully sell. Of the people that sell, they say 70% a year later are unsatisfied with the exit of the business.
With how it went. Wow. That's staggering, because it's already not that many people, and now the dissatisfaction, and that's huge. And that just shows the importance of having that team. So getting perspective here, establishing what are your goals for your exit in terms of that number. What is your exit number? Understanding what your current assets are, subtracting the two, that's giving you what you need. What you're needing from those other, from your remaining assets, like your business, to be able to compensate for that value gap between what you're wanting and what you've currently got that's there to be able to give you that retirement income that you need. So Steve, you've had a lot of conversations with business owners. What does that look like? What happens in those cases Have you had someone who's looked at the math and it's like, this is not looking so good for the retirement?
Yeah, many people come in, even successful ones that come in, sometimes they think, well, I'll sell it for this, I've got this, and they underestimate their income up front, as we were talking about, overestimate the value of what they're going to be able to exit and get from the business, and their options are work longer, live off less, or in some cases never retire. It's a eye-opening experience, and I will go on to say that, this is why it's so, as you would sit down with your financial planner, as you would go into your dentist and get an annual checkup, as you go into your doctor to get a checkup, this is a big deal. And again, most business owners are working or in their business so often, making sure employees get on the job site, product services get done, customer complaints are taken care of, and you're so busy with payroll and everything else. But you got to take a breath. You got to take a breath, back up, and take a day or two to go and see and check the business out to make sure it's healthy, heading in the right direction. And if you're off course, if you still got 5 or 10 years to go, if you're off course, making sure the things that you can do to make your business more profitable now. We don't only just help on the exit. We have people that can help you with your business, grow your business, make sure the systems and processes are in place to make sure it is more profitable, and it's more valuable when you do exit, realistically walking away with a top offer.
Right. Scale to sell. We do both. We
Absolutely.
help you scale. We help you sell. It's great. So today's takeaways, a really key, really important topic for us to understand, because for most people, you're right. They wait until they're ready to exit to start thinking about this. And it's better to plan ahead, to think through this before you're at that point, before you're at the point where you're just like, I just want to be done. I just want to be on the cruise ship, and move on to those things. So again, our financial exit formula that we were talking about today, goal minus current assets equals what you need. So what is your goal? What are you thinking about? What are your income needs? And to be realistic, right? To have the honest conversation with yourself about what you want your lifestyle to look like, how you want to maintain that, and to start by considering where your lifestyle spending is currently at. That's a great place to think about and to help give you a more realistic idea up front, and then understand what your current assets are, what you have access to in terms of retirement income, and what that means for the value of your business, where you're at there. That's going to give you the value gap, what you need from your business in order to reach your goal. And that's where having a clear picture of your business valuation is clear. And if you have questions about that, if you need one, maybe you haven't done one in a few years and you need a better and accurate number to be able to help consider as a part of this financial exit formula, make sure you go to scaletosell.com, click the link in the show notes below, and you can go right to that form, fill out that questionnaire of wanting to get that business valuation done, and we'd love to be able to connect you with our exit team to be able to help you with that. And with that, we'll see you next time on Scale to Sell.